this series, I'm testing which are the best augments in Black Ops 6 Zombies and which ones you should totally avoid. In this episode, we're testing Napalm Burst, which lets you chain together zombie explosions. But I think this one might have been secretly nerfed by Treyarch, so I'll show you how it works now, and then I'll also show how it used to work so we can compare and contrast. Okay, first things first, we need to get ourselves enough points to open the door and salvage to get ourselves napalm. And let's grab ourselves some Napalm Burst. There we go. So our first augment to test today is going to be a minor augment called Incendiary, where each damage tick has a small chance to spread to a nearby enemy. So we're gonna get our napalm to activate here. I'm sure this will be easier to test with Rampage Inducer off. There's one. Okay, that didn't spread to any, so they do need to be pretty close by. There we go, that spread to the two around it. Will that one now spread to the one next to it? No, okay. So I wonder if it only spreads from the initial zombie that you proc it on to any around it. So like that's not going to spread to anybody because there was no zombie next to it. But it will never spread from the second zombie to like a third zombie, maybe? I mean, let's keep testing here. So going to try and shoot into a horde a little bit. There we go. That's a proc. So that was, I think, 3 zombies. And yeah, it definitely did not ignite any other zombies there. That's unfortunate. Let's see if I get a really tight horde. What's the most zombies I can get it to spread to in one go? Nice tight horde. And boom. Okay, that looks like 3 zombies, I think. I really wish that would spread to the other zombies there. That would be so good if it did. The chain reaction would be crazy. What if I have an insta-kill? Do you reckon it might activate on more of them if I have the insta? All right, it's definitely off cooldown now. So if I just shoot one zombie here until it activates. That didn't spread to anybody. With Incendiary, each damage tick has the chance to spread it. And if there's no damage ticks because the zombie's dying from the bullet straight away, then it's never going to spread. So it doesn't really work with insta-kill. Now that we're on round 10, I can get myself my free weapon upgrade. There we go. Get ourselves a bit of Pack-a-Punch going. Did I miss it? Oh, I missed it. It exploded too soon. Well, that's okay. Got it. There it is. Yoink. Okay, we've got a Mangler, so we can test out Napalm Burst on the Mangler here. Let's see if it'll be nice to me and proc straight away. Oh, it will. Look at that. So it's doing 187 per damage tick right now. There's something I do want to try and test, is if the 187 burn damage is the same on a regular zombie as it is on a Mangler who's weak to it. So let's just try and ignite. So you're taking how much? I think that was 125, but I need the zombies to be a bit of a higher round, I think, to be able to sustain. I've never seen a Mangler head just hanging out like this before. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me try and ignite him again here. There we go. How much per tick now? 237. Okay. Okay, let's see if I can make it spread to him here. Okay, you can make it spread. And it looks like it just counts as the one of the 3 zombies, I guess. But that seems to be what it's capping out at for the time being. Okay, perfect. We got an abomination. So I can now test our first major augment of the video, and that is Big Game, where Napalm Burst is now effective on elite enemies. Now, Manglers are specials. They're not elites, but abominations are elites. They're the big red health bar baddies. And as you can see, my Napalm Burst is affecting the Abom. And if I get lucky here, well, if I don't kill it by accident first, come on. There we go. You can proc the Napalm Burst on it. Now, this actually could be quite interesting because we could use it to compare with the Mangler. Okay, I think that was 66 to 88. So 66 is less, right? That's less than I was expecting. That's a third less than the regular zombie initial tick damage, unless that's because we're at a higher round. I mean, I'm going to wait a second here for my Napalm Burst to be off cooldown, and we're going to test the cooldowns later in the video here as well. But let's see if I can activate it again here without killing the abomination as well. I mean, we'll have more. We will have plenty more in this video, I'm sure. Also, it's really having a tough time procking on the abomination. Like, Big Game might be on right now, but it doesn't feel like it's doing a whole lot. There we go. Oh, I'll take a multiphasic injector. Let's go. Now, the reason I'm so intent... 150 on that zombie. Okay, so it wasn't a multiplier before. 150 to 192. The reason I'm so intent on testing all the initial tick damage and the regular tick damage and stuff is because the augments we're going to be putting on later in the video are going to affect those stats. And so we need to have a good understanding of how they work before we buff them, so that once we buff them, we know what the difference is. That was 133 that I saw, but it was armored, and now it's doing 313. So we're doing more damage as the rounds go on per tick. Is that because I upgraded the rarity, perhaps? But it would be weird for Napalm Burst's effect to be affected by the weapon rarity, right? This is a little unusual right now, but let's just keep going up the rounds and testing and see what we can find. Yeah, 313 there. Okay, so how much are we doing to a regular zombie right now? 209. Okay. So let's go to round 17 and see if that 209 goes up. 150, 259. There you go. It's going up per round. That is so weird. Is it just proportional to the zombie's health? It's not about the amount of damage. It's about the percentage just remaining fixed. So if it went to, I think it was 259 that we were getting here from 209 last round, that's a 24% increase. So does that mean that the zombie health increased 24% between round 16 and 17? Maybe. Let's see how much we do on this Mangler here. 388. Okay. Why did I say that so weird? 88. 388, govda. Right, I want to test on an Abomination. Okay, let's see what the damage is like to the Abomination on round 20 here. There we go. 613 a tick now. Okay. So yeah, I think it's honestly just doing proportional damage to the amount of health that the thing has. It's probably taking down the same amount of health bar each time. So really what I need to do here is I need to save and quit, but the game won't let me. So I'm going to run my timer down and see what happens. What round are we on? And 9? You serious? My weapon's not even pack-a-punch? Bro, what? Okay, so weird, but I guess we've just got to push through to our first Abomination, I guess. Man, this game tilts me so much sometimes. So I guess what I can do is I can look back in my footage here and see how much initial burn damage I was doing on the rounds that I've already played. And that way, with Contact Burn, the minor augment where initial burn effect deals more damage, I should be able to get an idea of what the difference is like. So we're doing 105 damage on round 9 here. Let me check my footage. So I took a look here, and on the previous round 9, I was doing 105 damage per tick. And I'm pretty sure I'm now doing 105 damage per tick. 105 per tick. So it's definitely not affecting the per tick damage, it's just the initial. So I checked the VOD here, and weirdly, the initial burn effect damage doesn't seem to come up as a damage number. Like, I'm just getting lots of 105s, and now in my game, oh, well, I'm getting the 262s now, so why is that appearing when it wasn't in the footage before? Strange. Unless, and I've just checked my footage again, but unless the initial damage before was just the same as the regular ticks. It's just 105 at all times. Whereas now, I get 262 for one tick, and then it turns into 105, because 105 has been turned into 262. The only thing is, 262 over 105 is a very strange, oh, actually, no, fair enough. It's 2.5 times. So it 2.5x's the first tick of damage. And it's not initial damage in the sense that, like, that's any different to the second or third tick normally, but it becomes different to it when you add this effect. So let's say Napalm Burst is doing, like, 5% of a zombie's health per tick. And I actually could test this on an insta-kill round by, I think, knifing a zombie. I think then I can see the actual amount of health that it has. Let's get ourselves an insta. Here we go. Perfect. So I have insta-kill. So now, I think if I get a full health zombie, I think the zombies have 525 health right now, I think. That one was damaged. That one was damaged. Okay, so 525. And now I need to wait for my insta-kill to go away. Let's just test one more zombie. 525, perfect. Okay, so 525. It's doing 105 out of 525, which is a fifth. So it's 0.2, which is a fifth. So it's 20% of the zombie health being done per tick, which is actually pretty good. That's better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like 5%. But what we found is that because it's 2.5xing the first tick, it's 2.5xing the first 20% tick, which is half. So that means that now a single proc will do half of the zombie's health in a single tick. There, that was half the zombie health, and then it's 2 ticks and it's dead. And that's because each tick is 20%, and it had only a little bit left from the damage I did via the bullet. So that's interesting, man. I really thought that the way that Napalm Burst worked in this game was different, and that it was just always going to be doing a fixed amount of damage, but yeah, it makes total sense that it is percentage-based. And this will mean that it will do this at any round. Like, I don't need to grind up to crazy rounds to test this. It's going to continuously do half the zombie health, and then it's going to tick 20% each time. Now, another thing that's worth testing is the burn duration. Maybe I need to do it on a Mangler where the Mangler won't die so quickly. And you never know, we might get lucky and get a Mangler next round, so this might be fine. There's a Mangler, perfect. Let's avoid damaging it just while the insta-kill is active. There we go. And ended. Oh, no, he's still burning. He's still going. Oh, it lasts a decent amount of time. Okay. Now, I guess there's two ways to sort of think about this. There's time, but there's also potentially just ticks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 ticks, I think. I think it's 6 ticks. It was a little weird with the first tick. Like, they felt like a little staggered, but I think that was 6. I want to check my burn effect damage on round 13, please, zombie. Somebody gonna help me out? How much is that doing? 158? Okay. We're now checking extension, and that increases the burn duration. We're gonna do it on a ticks basis here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 ticks. Okay, so that's a 2/3 increase, 66% increase. Now, clearly, each tick is not doing 20% of the health of the Mangler to the Mangler. So it works a little differently on the Mangler, but still, we've done a lot of damage there just from the ticks of the Napalm Burst. But let's also test Thermite now, the major augment which increases burn effect damage. So this isn't just increasing the initial burn damage. That was what Contact Burn, the minor augment, did. But this is just the general burn damage. So let's find a zombie here as our little candidate. And we're doing... That was what, 237? 74. Okay, 237, but it was on low health, so... How did that kill the other zombie? Wait, what? 237 and 50. And it must have been 50 from the hit to the body and 237. So 237 over 158 is 1.5. So it's doing a 1.5 times damage multiplier to each tick. So that means that instead of doing 20% of a zombie's health per tick, we're doing 30% per tick. So we can just math it out real quick to very efficiently see which is better. Thermite, which increases general damage, or Contact Burn, which only increases initial damage, but it increases it more than the amount Thermite does. So with Thermite, you're getting 30% per tick, so it's 4 ticks to kill, and they're all even. Whereas with Contact Burn, you get 50% initially, and then you get 20 to 70, 20 to 90, and another 20 to kill the zombie. So both take 4 ticks to kill. But if you combined them together, presumably, you'd have a base tick of 30%, getting 2.5x'd. So that would be 75% of the zombie's health just from the first tick. And then the next tick would do 30% damage, so the second tick would kill the zombie. So yeah, if you wanted your individual ticks, why is this spreading like that? It's not meant to be, right? Or is that just how napalm works these days? Like, is that normal napalm burst now? And if it is, what's the point in the augment that makes it spread? Like, what? I'm so confused. So yeah, if you're optimizing for just killing the zombie as fast as possible with the ticks, then yeah, you can combo those together. But I don't really see why you would. Like, it seems much more likely to me that you'd care more about killing those zombies a little more slowly, but killing more of them and being more effective with your overall damage output, right? So there's 2 tests that we need to do here still. One is the major augment Firebomb, where burned enemies explode on death, spreading the fire to nearby enemies. And the second thing is trying to get an understanding of how frequently it procs. So just like I did with Cryo Freeze, and you could check the Cryo Freeze video out after you've watched this one, but just like Cryo, I'm going to basically snake around a little bit here, and I'm just going to spray into zombies, and we're going to average out how many times it procs over the course of about a minute. So here we go. There we go. There's first proc. Now, the interesting thing about Cryo is that it actually started procking twice, whereas this is clearly only procking one at a time. We're just going to keep doing this until we get another proc here, and we're just going to average all of this out. There's second proc. There's third proc. There's next proc. And honestly, I think I'm just going to wait a second here because I know that it's going to take a minute. And then we might not get another proc because the zombies are just too low health. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. We'll just do the test up to the final proc there. We'll get a rough average for how often it procs. Oh, hey, buddy. Okay, so we've spawned back in, and I have the last major augment to test here, which is Firebomb. Burned enemies explode on death, spreading the fire to nearby enemies. And I'm using that in combination with the extension minor augment, so they'll burn for longer, and they should hopefully spread the fire around a bunch. So let's test it. There we go. So zombies are burning. They should die now. And they spread it. Hey, hey, look at that. And then they're going to die. And they're going to spread it. Oh, they're not spreading it. Oh, so that kind of sucks. The way this should work is zombies that are burned should all be transferring it to other zombies when they die, just like those ones are about to do. They're going to die. They're going to spread it, right? The problem is when they're dying, the second zombie in the chain, so not the first one that I ignite, right? But the one that gets ignited by another zombie, that doesn't spread any of its fire. For some reason, and I don't know why. It really should do. It's still a burned enemy that's dying, so that seems like a weird thing for it to kind of care about, you know what I mean? So that's spreading, and now this one will not, or that one won't spread it. Look. They'll explode, and they don't spread it to any other zombies. That's really unfortunate, man. That's just taking away potential synergy options and making it less cool, I feel like. It's still good, don't get me wrong. Like, the fact that we've got all these zombies in here, and instead of just getting the one or maybe two if I get one of those weird spreads, right? But instead of getting that, I can get maybe 5 zombies from this. Like, that's 3 zombies. That's now an extra zombie. It's just that that could then be more extra zombies. But I have a theory. I reckon if I finish this round here, and then we load in with Incendiary back on, where damage ticks have a chance to spread to a nearby enemy, that might solve the problem. So we've now loaded in with Firebomb, so they explode on death, and Incendiary, where each tick has a chance to spread it. And I'm going to see if that will allow me to get the infinite zombies chain reaction that I crave right now. Okay, we have perfect testing conditions established. No Manglers, no Abominations, no Amalgams, thankfully, on Liberty Falls. That would suck. Just a big old group of zombies. So, I'm going to get them in a nice, tight group here, and we'll see how long we can keep this chain reaction going. There we go. First ignition successful. And that's exploded into the other zombies here. And they're just turning into the bugs. That's stopping it from working. Maybe I need to do it mid-round when they're not going to just turn into bugs. Turn into bugs so frequently if you leave them alive that it's really impeding my testing right now. Oh, hey, bud. You know what? You can survive today, actually. How about you just go home and just, like, have a nice dinner? Yeah, see ya. Okay, we've ignited some zombies. Perfect. And it's spreading. Good. We are getting some buggage, but man, it just doesn't spread nearly as much as I want it to. Like, every time I've been like, yeah, it's going to spread amazingly. It's going to be so good, but it's just not proccing. And then it's not spread. Like, what is that? Zero spreadage at all. This is with 2 augments on specifically to cause it to spread. And yet, it's just not happening for me. This sucks, man. Napalm could be so good, and it just doesn't chain react nearly as well as it should do. But as things stand right now, this is so underwhelming. So we're going to do a quick cut away from my game here, and I'm going to show you this B-roll that I recorded about a week ago of Napalm fully upgraded and chaining zombie explosions together. And look how good it is in this clip. The explosions just keep on going. I get 1 zombie explosion started, and then it's a chain reaction that continues and continues and continues. And I'll put on screen here how many kills I got, all without even continuing the chain reaction either, and then we can compare that to the footage we were already looking at from today's testing of Napalm Burst and judge whether or not Treyarch have nerfed this. And I honestly think they have done, and I think that sucks. Like, this is so much less exciting now to use because of that nerf. So I was fully planning to go into this video and be like, yeah, I think Firebomb and Incendiary, just looking at the words that they say on the augment descriptions, are the best. Like, hands down. Even with a group of zombies like these, the fact that it didn't take out that whole horde, compared to something like Cryo Freeze, I feel like that makes Napalm really underwhelming. Because at least with Cryo, you can proc the whole Ice Storm and clear an entire area. So that makes me think that Firebomb Incendiary is not the way to build your Napalm builds. And instead, I would much sooner recommend maybe using Big Game so you can do damage to elites. And then probably Burn Duration, because Burn Duration is going to give you 4 extra ticks. And if each of those ticks is doing, let's say, 5% of an elite's health, then the 4 ticks is 20% more damage. Whereas if you use the one that gives you initial multiplier, that's just 2.5x on the 5%. So yeah, I think as a boss damage build, that is probably the way I would go. Big game and extension. The likelihood of you not interacting with elites in this game is so low because so many elite and special zombies do spawn in that you just might as well have big game on. So those are my recommendations. If you disagree, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Maybe a different weapon or something would be better to get my napalm to proc in a different way. I don't know. I'm super open to your feedback here, guys. And as always, I've got 2 more augment videos linked on screen for you to click through to now to check out more of the best builds in the game. I'll see you there.